smooth as stones, sitting with the river's bones, glimmer with the white of passing light in this unknown and sprouting seed.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I'm so excited to have you guys here today. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my experience studying in Australia. I already have 2 videos on my channel which cover some of these topics. One that I made back in 2020 that was about my experience applying to these universities, and then another one that talks about my experience studying at Bond University for my Bachelor's of Architectural Studies back in 2020 as well. But since then, I have been getting so many questions and DMs about some things that I just didn't have time to cover in these videos. So I would just love to answer some of these questions for you guys. And always feel free to reach out to me again if there's still any questions about this experience. Although this happened in 2018 for me and I left Australia in 2021, I still have so many fun memories of this experience and would love to share them with you guys. So yeah, feel free to DM me or reach out to me. I'm gonna leave my Instagram in the description if you do have any further questions. It's so helpful to talk to people, like especially if you're international like I was and was moving abroad to a completely different country, so far away from my family, being so young, to reach out to people and talk to them about these kind of experiences. So yeah, if there's anything I could do for you guys, just let me know. I would love to help. Just a little disclaimer before I start, I just rewatched one of those old videos and my accent sounded so different to what it does now. And I don't know if that's just me, but I've been studying in the US now for my master's degree for the last 2 years, and I think my accent has changed so much, and it's so funny to just see the progression. And it's not like I try to copy any accents, but just like being around so many people, it just like kind of starts, there's just some things that start to like stick, and it's just so weird to watch those back and be like, I didn't even realize I had a bit of an accent back then. But yeah, I think honestly, if anything, my accent has become more neutral now, I would say. But let's get straight into today's video. So I studied at Bond University, which is located in the Gold Coast, Australia. And a lot of the questions I got were, why did I choose the Gold Coast over Sydney or anywhere else? And I would say for me, it was, first of all, I knew I wanted to study architecture, so I did a bit of research on all the architecture programs, and I was pretty drawn to the program of Bond University, especially because it was accelerated. I already covered this topic in my prior videos, but basically I did my whole undergraduate, so my Bachelor of Architectural Studies, in 2 years instead of probably 3 at another university, and this is because Bond does like accelerated degrees. So basically that means I had 3 semesters per year instead of just 2, which for me was such a big factor because I was so young and moving away from my family, and to be honest, I was really scared I was going to be super homesick. So just the fact that my program was going to be 2 years instead of 3 honestly made it be so much less overwhelming, that it became such a big factor in my decision. But to quickly talk more specifically about why I chose the Gold Coast, I don't have an exact reasoning. Like I said, I looked at universities in Sydney, I looked at some of the Gold Coast, I looked at some in Western Australia, so like Perth and stuff, and honestly, I was just really drawn to the Gold Coast and the program that Bond University offered, like I said before. So yeah, I was just really excited, and I also looked at a lot of videos of people talking about their experiences on YouTube. I did reach out to some people that I knew that were from Argentina that were studying in Australia to ask for some advice as well, and that was super helpful. And I kind of went with my choice, and I think for me that was like such a perfect decision because honestly the Gold Coast was just like the perfect match for me. The weather was great all year round. There was just like, it was super sunny. The beaches are amazing. I would go surfing all the time. There were so many outdoor and kind of nature activities that you could do, such as like hikes and stuff. And it was such like a great place to study. After class, sometimes my friends and I would go get ice cream and go to the beach and just like go back and study later. So it's such a really good place to study with really good vibes and great people. In terms of Sydney, I only went there once. Since COVID happened while I was there, I couldn't really travel too much within Australia, which was kind of annoying because I wanted to see so many places, and I still got to travel a bit, but maybe not as much as I could have otherwise. But overall, I think the Gold Coast is great for its beach and outdoor lifestyle. And if that's what you're into, it's honestly great. Whereas Sydney or Melbourne have a more rich cultural scene. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, the choice is up to you and what matches more with your lifestyle and your personality and where you like living. Like for me, I've never really been a huge city person, so the Gold Coast was just perfect for its like very laid back lifestyle with just beaches and great weather. Whereas like Sydney is great if you kind of prioritize a more fast-paced lifestyle. And yeah, the cultural experiences and opportunities will probably be great there for you as well. So I guess I'm pretty biased for the Gold Coast, but that's because it's just a perfect match for me. But I would definitely look at all the great options that Australia has to offer before you make any decision. I will say though, the cost of living in Sydney will probably be a lot higher than the Gold Coast, so that is definitely something you should consider as well. In terms of your budget and opportunities, just as a place to study and have an amazing student experience, it is honestly the perfect place. I got a few questions about finances, tuition, work, and yeah, just how I covered my expenses while being there. And I would say, yes, it's pretty expensive to live in the Gold Coast, especially. Rent is pretty expensive and food is pretty expensive, but I am living in New York now, and I would say it's a lot cheaper than here still. And for the quality of things you get there and the quality of life, it is a lot better than my experiences right now. So I think it is worth it. And there's definitely ways to get money. For example, tuition is pretty expensive. There are a lot of scholarships that Bond provides for international students, and that is how I funded part of my program. So yeah, I would definitely look into that wherever you end up applying to. I think like even if you think you don't meet all of the expectations, like still give it a go. You never know if you'll get a bit of that scholarship, or maybe you're just lucky and you'll still get it. So I would say just give it a go and apply to as many funding and scholarship things that you can. So that is definitely one thing. I was lucky. My parents have been super supportive with my education. So during my studies, I didn't work, especially through those 2 very intense years of architecture. I did have friends who had jobs afterwards, and I would say it's not the majority, but there's people who do that and they manage just fine. So if that's something you're willing to do, I would definitely look into that. The other good thing about having a visa there as an international student is you can work while studying, which is something that you can't really do in the US. I mean, there's exceptions, like you can work on campus or for professors, or you can get a CPT and work for something that is related to your field of studies. But there, it was just like very lenient in terms of that. I'm still guessing it's the same. But yeah, with your student visa, you can get jobs anywhere, basically outside of the university, inside of the university. So yeah, if your program gives you time and allows for that, then 100% get a job, get a weekend job, and start making some money. And also, one thing to note is jobs there do pay pretty well, especially even if you're a barista or work at a restaurant. Their salaries are pretty good in all service jobs. The only thing, don't expect tips because that's just not a part of their culture. But yeah, with what you'll get paid at those kind of jobs, you'll still be making enough money, especially as a student. It's a pretty good salary, I would say. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, there's always summer internships that you can do, and also that would probably get you a lot of money that you can save up and use throughout the semester. So yeah, there's definitely just a lot of ways where you can get funding, either through the university or through external organizations that give scholarships to international students. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to touch on again was student accommodation at Bond. I did mention it a bit in my last video, but I'm still going to be talking about it again here. So there's a few on-campus accommodation options that Bond offers. I only stayed on campus for my first semester, and unlike the US, it's not compulsory for you to live there for your first semester. You could live anywhere else, but I think it is a great way to get to know people. At least for me, that's how I made the most of my friends at the beginning. It's a super good way to socialize. And sorry, my battery just died and I think my camera has been tilted the whole time, so I'm very sorry about that. But like I was saying, staying on campus is such a great opportunity to get to know people and socialize your first semester. I feel like if I wouldn't have lived on campus, I would have just like made friends within my program, but not gotten to know that many people outside of it. So yeah, living on campus and getting to know so many people there was such a great opportunity to kind of like get to know other people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. So definitely recommend at least for a couple semesters. But one of my most asked questions was actually what kind of rooms you can get there and what options to look for. So I would recommend to look online, but I can kind of guide you through the process and tell you where you can find this information. But basically, if you go to the Bond University website, you'll get all the on-campus accommodation options. I stayed in the premium twin bedroom at the accommodation center. Basically, you get your own bedroom in this 2-bedroom unit. I had one roommate and we shared a bathroom and a little common area. And then within the accommodation center building, there was like all these little common rooms where you could get like to know more people that lived in your building, which was a great way to meet people as well. In terms of the other buildings, I never lived in any of them, but I do have a lot of friends who live there, so I can tell you a bit about them. There was I think it was called the East Tower, and I think that was a pretty chill building. That one had a lot of the share room options, but if you're looking to share a room with someone and just share a bathroom with one person, I think there's a couple like kind of double share room options available where you just get your own bed, but you share a bathroom with like one person and a little common area as well. So that happened a lot in East Tower. Then North Tower was probably one of the newest buildings on campus, and that one was more expensive, and it had most of the premium single like ensuite and just private bedroom options with ensuite bathrooms. So that's a very good option if that's within your budget to live there, since it's one of the newest buildings on campus. Location is great since it's right next to like the main dining area, which is really good. And then there's some more like social accommodation area, which is called the blocks. And that one has mostly single rooms where you share a bathroom with like your whole corridor. None of the rooms really in any of these buildings have their own kitchen because you have to get a meal plan if you're staying on campus. But there is one exception, which is the residence flats, which are also located on the blocks area. However, these are pretty hard to find. When I was there weren't that many of these. And in this option, you would basically have like, for example, like a little 2-bedroom apartment with 2 rooms. You had one roommate and you would share a little kitchen, common area, and bathroom between you two. So this was a pretty great option as well. But I do know these rooms like went away so quickly, so you had to be really quick to get them. And yeah, that's kind of a very quick breakdown of all of the buildings. And now I can give you a quick breakdown as well of the types of rooms you can find within these buildings. You can find these online, but I will quickly go over them. Like I said, there's the single bedrooms that are usually located at the blocks building, and these are just single rooms, and these are just like individual pretty small bedrooms with a bed and a desk and a closet area, and you share a bathroom with your whole corridor usually. So I would say it's about 10 to 15 people that share these bathrooms, and there's just shower stalls and like toilet stalls and sinks. The blocks is the most social building on campus. It's where most of the parties and social events happen. If you're looking for a quieter option, I would definitely opt for anything like North Tower, East Tower of the accommodation center. The blocks is probably one of the loudest buildings where most of the activities and parties are happening. In the blocks, you usually have the flats, which are these 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, which have their own bathrooms, and they also have a little small kitchen, I think, with just like a hot plate and stuff like that. Then there's the single ensuite bathrooms, which are usually at North Tower, and these are just private bedrooms with their own bathroom. And within that building, you have a lot of common rooms as well, so you can socialize with people. So don't worry too much if you're in one of those like buildings with a private bedroom. I'm sure you'll still have the opportunity to meet a lot of people as well. There's also the premium single ensuite bedrooms, and these are just also private bedrooms with their own bathroom, but they just have I think a double bed instead of a single bed. Then basically you have your shared rooms, which are the standard twin, the superior twin share, and the deluxe twin. Within all of these you share a room and you have your own bathroom. And then the premium twin is the one that I stayed in. That's where you get your own bedroom and then just share a bathroom and a common area with the other person. I got a lot of questions as well about classes and electives. I would love to give you more information on this, but honestly, I'm just gonna make this question super short because a lot of the electives I took were very specific to architecture. Like I did an augmented reality and virtual reality elective. Again, that was very specific to like architecture and technology, which is what I liked, but I'm sure you can find something that is related to your interests. So definitely have a look at their electives and their classes. Okay, next question was social life. Social life was honestly great there. I made so many friends really quickly. Like I said, staying on campus helped so much because I got to meet a lot of people from the beginning. And I also ended up making a lot of friends within my architecture program. But yeah, being a part of the on-campus community and yeah, having lunch and dinner at the cafeterias and stuff on campus was just a really helpful way to meet people. Also, Bond is pretty good with her social life and like student activities and stuff. There's a lot of sports activities, outings, clubs you can join, all types of things. It has a huge gym, so many sports courts and stuff, so I would definitely consider being a part of that if you're into any sports and stuff to meet people. But they also have some great parties if you're really into the party life and stuff. There's a bar kind of thing on campus that's called Don's Tavern, and they used to have a party every Thursday almost that was like a themed party. So that was super fun, and I would go there with my friends almost every Thursday, especially our first year, and we definitely calmed down a bit after that. But yeah, there's something going on for everyone, either like a sports event, or if you're more into like social events and parties, there's just like something for everyone. So I would say the social life is like a 10 out of 10, honestly. And I don't think I want to drag this video on for too long because like I said, there's a lot that I covered in my other videos and I don't want to be redundant and just make this video super long for no reason. So please check out my other two videos if you have any other questions. Also, in terms of what I'm doing now, because that was also a very frequently asked question, I think Bond opened up a lot of doors for me, which is something that I'm super happy about. It definitely opened up my mind. Also, especially traveling abroad, also like opened my mind so much to other experiences. Right now, I'm living in New York. I'm studying my master's degree at Cornell University, which is one of the Ivy League universities in the US, and I'm super proud of myself for being here. I would say in terms of the workload and intensity, it has been a lot harder here, and that does not take away from my experience at Bond. I think it was very intense and hard in its own way, but I think just also being in a master's degree now, it is a lot harder, so it's like very difficult to compare my two experiences. Also because my undergraduate was so short, I just feel like it just like went so quickly, but I did learn so much in those 2 years that it is amazing, and it got me here to where I am today. So yeah, I think it's a great school. I got taught to think critically and be creative, and definitely taught me like a lot of architecture skills that I'm taking into my career now and my new studies. So definitely overall an incredible experience. I miss Australia every day. If COVID hadn't happened, maybe I would be doing my master's degree there as well, but my life just ended up taking a completely different path, and that's okay. And I'm so excited to be living in the US right now. Never in my life would have thought I would be studying in an Ivy League university in the US, but here I am today, and Bond was just the first step into that. So many of my friends did their masters at Bond, and I honestly would have loved to do that as well. Just I got given this opportunity and took it, but I would have been more than happy to study there if I had the time. I'm not trying to sell you on this. I've never been contacted by Bond about making any of these videos. This is just my own personal experience, and I hope it helps you guys if you're making a decision. Maybe it won't even be about studying at Bond University, but it is helpful to just hear about an experience of someone moving and studying abroad, and having this kind of experience. And like I said, I'm always down to have a chat. If you want to message me, if you have any other questions, would love to talk to any of you guys and help you out with your questions and just motivate you on your own personal experience. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed today's video. Hope I've answered some of your other questions. I did get some other more specific ones, and I have tried to reply to all of those people who sent me very specific questions, but if I haven't, please send me a message again. Sometimes these messages get lost in my inbox. So yeah, please reach out. And if you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe. I will keep sharing some of these videos about my experience. Just leave any comments if you want me to make a more in-depth video about any of these topics. And I know I also have been getting a lot of questions about studying the US and stuff, and I haven't had time to make any of those videos, but I know at some point I will. So yeah, just reach out to me, leave any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, and I will see you guys in the next video.